everyone! I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be painting over a monoprint that I did while I was in college. And I didn't realize this when I first started the project, but I actually still had the print mold. I just found it while I was going through my wardrobe. I think it's a bit hard to see, but the back of it is just cardstock. And then on top of it, I've layered paper, and this is fabric. And then to create some textures, I used glue. I think it might be wood glue. And then I have these little paper stubs, and I think these are coiled up cut-offs when I was making these. So yeah, and monoprints are a type of printing technique. I won't really go into it because I'm not all that knowledgeable, but it was really fun. We got to try a lot of different printing techniques at school. The results I had, personally, I really liked the potential of them, but I didn't think that the interest was high enough. The different sections weren't very clear. I'm going to show you what I had before. I made a few different prints, and they came out a little bit differently. These ones are a bit darker than the one I chose to work on because I felt that the different details were clearer on the one I chose. They kind of disappear in this one. And you can see a lot of, I think those are fingerprints. You wouldn't really have been able to see those anyway since I was painting over that part, but still, I found that the other print was more successful. But I think you can see what I mean. Like, it's not very clear. Everything just disappears and becomes a big paint blob. So I wanted to try to paint on it and see if I could actually bring out some of the interest again.
So I've already started the painting, and I felt that it wasn't really working. So I made these. And at first I started with these two value studies. I only really made two this time because the middle ground color was already set, or the mid-ground value was already set because of the printing ink, and it was pretty dark already. And I think as far as values go, this one is more effective, but I don't want the painting to be too dark. So I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna rely on color relationships in order to make the distinction. So then I have these for color studies. And you know, usually I do go sort of close to working with, what are they called? Complementary colors. Because I know that it can be sort of, I don't know, I guess it can be kind of boring if you keep sticking to that, and I think I do that a little bit too much. But for this one, I actually didn't think it was working. I like the color, but I don't like the hole. I was thinking that this one is pretty fun, but it's a little too bright and colorful for the vibe that I want. And again, I think this one, I like the colors, but it got a little too monotone. I actually think I'm gonna go with this one because it has sort of, I mean, the orange tones and the violet tones, they complement the background while at the same time standing out from it at the same time. And I think it works. I really like it. I like the little subtleties that I was able to get, so I hope I can recreate that and even enforce it even more. So yeah, I think we have a plan. It's kind of ironic how the color study I chose actually turned out to be similar to the color theme I had chosen already that I didn't like for the painting. But there you go. Maybe it just needed some orange too. Okay, voiceover Hannah coming in to talk to you. So in this episode, there are a few things that I wanted to address and talk to you about because I honestly just recently made the connection. And it has to do with why art has helped me find a lot of my self-worth and sort of the parallels in how it reflects and is different from my everyday life. As a grown-up, I was diagnosed with ADHD, or in my case specifically ADD. If you don't know exactly what that means, I won't go too much into it. There are a lot of really great resources out there. I'm gonna link a few of the ones I know in Swedish in the description. But basically, a few of the main factors are difficulty with finding and maintaining focus, and difficulty with storing memory, and lack of impulse control. And when I was growing up, that wasn't really a thing that was widely known. So a lot of the struggles I had, people didn't know that it was because of my ADHD. So growing up, I just really felt that I was really stupid because there are a lot of everyday things that are very easy for most of the people around me, and that I just couldn't do. And the thing is that, having ADHD, I don't ever think that should be an excuse not to do important things, because that's not really what it means. But it does mean that you have difficulty with certain things that comes very natural to other people, and you just have to find your way around that. But if you don't have that knowledge and you think that you should just be able to do it, it's very difficult, because you might not even think to try to work around it in different ways. And so growing up, that was a really big struggle for me, because I felt that I just wasn't good enough, and I kept messing up these things that I really shouldn't be messing up. Especially socially, it was very difficult, because I know that I said and did things that either hurt people or that made me look really foolish, and I just spent a lot of time in constant anxiety and shame, because I felt stupid, and I felt mean, and I felt strange, and I felt very alienated. And I still struggle with a lot of those things today, but it has become a lot better. I've found different ways to accommodate my difficulties and to work around them, and also just knowing about them has really helped me feel better, because I know why I have these difficulties, and I'm not so hard on myself anymore. I try to be more forgiving, even if I still try to be very conscious about these things, and I still try to work on them as best as I can, and try to work around them as best as I can. But I am still very sensitive about it, because if you point out one of these flaws that I've been working extremely hard with for most of my life, it is going to make me sad, because I know that critique is valid. I know that it's true, but I don't know how, or even if I can completely get rid of them. I don't know how I can improve upon them. I don't have concrete things to sort of compare to. Even if I know that I'm better and I've evolved a lot, I don't remember a lot of the things that I did as a child. I can, remember certain things. I can remember an overall feeling,
But if I end up in a similar situation today and I know abstractly that I'm not making as many mistakes, but I can't point to a specific point in time and go, oh, in that specific instance I acted this way and that was horrible, and this time I was actually able to do it better. I can't do that. I don't have that point of reference, so I know in an abstract way that I'm not going to hurt as many people's feelings, and I'm not going to be as strange. But it's very hard to compare. Whereas with art, it's very different. If I look at a painting that I did 5 years ago, I have a concrete example of what has improved. I can see that my shape language is better. I can see that the way I work with color is more effective. I can say that I have a better sense of value and value separation. I have concrete examples. So that is why if you look at one of my paintings, if you look at my art and you tell me that you don't like it or that it's not working, it's not effective, I'm not gonna take offense. I'm not gonna be sad. I'm gonna see that as an opportunity to improve. And to me, that is really amazing. And that is one of the things that really helped me find some, self-esteem. Because if you tell me I'm being really awkward in a social situation, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I know, but I don't know what to do to stop myself from being that way. But if you tell me, hey, Hannah, you really didn't nail the sense of form in this painting, then I'm gonna go, oh, okay, cool. I know that sense of form has to do with lighting, the way the lighting hits the form. It has to do with value. Those are concrete things I can work on, and that, I have a point to go off of, and I find that super exciting and super fun. I actually, when I went to one of those art classes when I was younger, that was just an evening class, the teacher that I had in that one, we were all working on different things, and I was making a painting and I did the underdrawing, and she complimented me on my drawing and she said that it was really good. And then when I started the actual painting, I remember she went by and she looked at it and she went, I really think you should stick to drawing. And I was pretty young back then. I can't remember exactly how old, but I was still a child. And the thing is, I personally didn't take offense. I kind of saw it as a challenge. Not to prove anything to her, but to prove to myself that that was something that I could do. I think as a grown-up, and especially as a mentor, it is really important not to say those things to young minds, because you might actually encourage someone to stop doing something that they love and that helps them in life.
to me, that wasn't the case, and that's very fortunate. But just be mindful, because this happened years ago, and I still remember it. Vem puttar du, Vilda? Okay. So, be mindful, be kind, and be supportive. You can always find strengths, and I think it is really important to see one's weaknesses if you want to evolve. That is one thing that, that's the whole point of why art is so important to me, because I know I'm not the best artist out there. I'll never be the best artist out there, but I can always improve, and that is the magic to me about art, that I'm never done. I'm never going to be finished learning, but I know what I can do to improve, and as long as I keep working on it, I'm going to keep improving. And I love that. It's amazing. It's such an opportunity. So I'm always going to welcome critique, and I think that's maybe the interesting viewpoint is my self-worth in art isn't whether or not it's good. It's my ability to improve. And if you want to become better at something, I think that's an important mindset to have. So welcome critique and see it as an opportunity to learn, not as a testament to how well you are now. I wanted to talk a little bit about an artist that I was very fortunate enough to listen to one of his talks in college. The students had put together this really cool club where they would invite older students to talk about their work and what they had learned, and it was a very valuable experience. And one of the artists that talked there is named Victor Mori. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but today he's worked for a lot of really big companies like League of Legends and Magic the Gathering and D&D. But back then he was still just a student. He was a fantastic artist. But the thing I remember about his talk was his attitude towards art. And it was so wise and refreshing, and I really took that to heart. One of the things that he said was that you should never be afraid to critique people who are better than you, because that is one way to learn and to improve yourself. Because the thing is that your brain learns more quickly than your hands. So you might know things theoretically faster than you're able to practice them. He also showed us work that he did when he first started that college and compared it to work that he was doing in his final year. And the improvement was crazy. It was amazing how much he had improved in that short span of time. And I was really impressed that, he wasn't afraid to show his old work and, to just emphasize the value of curiosity, of the journey, of being inspired and always keep growing. It's not about what you can do now. It's about having the courage to see your own flaws and to not let that beat you down, but to grow from it and to see that as inspiration, basically. At that college, again, now I was a lot older than during that night class I had when I was a child, but I had a a teacher at that school who at one point asked me if I was colorblind because I was struggling so much with finding the right colors when I was doing real life studies in nature. And again, I was like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna learn color. And you know, color is one of the things that a lot of my friends has said that they really enjoy in my work. So it's so much fun. I keep learning, and I enjoy the journey, and I enjoy the possibility to learn, to always find new things out, to realize new potentials, and to try different things out. It's one of the things that I really love about art. So don't be afraid to accept critique. Like, even if someone just says that they don't like it, that's very subjective. It doesn't say anything about your worth as an artist, or as a person for that matter. But if it is, specific critique, something that you can work on and improve on, then embrace the impossibility, and don't be too hard on yourself, because I think that that's something that can really drain you and not really allow you to enjoy the journey. I know that some people do sort of flourish in that, on being hard on themselves, and it's all very individual, of course, but I think there's a very nice balance of not being afraid of critique and always be open to improvement, but at the same time being proud of the steps that you have taken and the improvements that you have made, because that is part of the journey too. I know that I've made the mistake in the past that because I want critique, I want people to tell me what I can do better. I sometimes assume that other people are the same way, so I've really hurt some people's feelings when all they really wanted to hear was that they've done a good job. And there's nothing wrong with that either. We all need to hear that we're doing a good job sometimes, whatever it is. But balance. It's all about balance, really. Again, I've babbled on for quite some time, but the message that I wanted to give with this was, you don't have to stick to what you're good at. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine, because you're gonna really hone that skill. But if not, then challenge yourself and see how far you can go, and really revel in that experience. And remember that we all have strengths and weaknesses, and you just have to find your own way around them, and your own way to be your best self in a way that serves both you and the people around you. That's going to be different for everyone, and so just be mindful, be kind to yourself, and try to find the things that make you strong in the notion that you're unique and important, and you can do things. You just might need to find a different way to work around it, and that's okay. So go out there and find the thing that makes you excited and happy, and that allows you to feel fulfilled as a person, and spread that joy. Hey!